Now is Rilla Askew, and I'm going to have to read this because really you've won so many awards for your writing. Rilla was born and raised in eastern Oklahoma. She teaches at the University of Oklahoma these days. She has won the Oklahoma Book Award. She was a nominee for a Penn Faulkner Award. She has won the Western Heritage Awards actually a couple of times because you won it again this year. The American Book Award from the Before Columbus Foundation and the Myers Book Award from the Gustavus Myers Center for the Study of Bigotry and Human Rights. And you're here because your latest novel has received attention again.
So well, it's pretty exciting.
Yeah. You won the Western Heritage Awards in 1998, and you're back again for the 2008 award, and that is for Harpsong, is it not? And I think you and I talked about Harpsong this last year, about the novel specifically, but this is just one in a long line of exploring Oklahoma and what goes on with people, isn't it?
It is. You know, Faulkner said his little postage stamp of native soil was so interesting, so fascinating, he would just never be finished writing about it. And I think I feel the same way about Oklahoma. And it's all of Oklahoma's story, and it sort of covers the whole sweep of Oklahoma. I've been really interested in the mythic eras in Oklahoma's past, the settling of the Indian territory as the white migrants began to come in here. There's one thing I've written about, one era I've written about, the 1920s, of course, with the oil boom and the Tulsa race riot in Fire and Beulah. And now Harpsong's about the 1930s, another powerful era in Oklahoma's past.
Well, now, are you working your way up, so in about 15 or 20 years you'll be up to about 1980 in Oklahoma?
It would be nice to write about some era I've actually lived in. I think it will be... Well, I would like to. I mean, there are several other eras that I'm really interested in, and I continually hear from readers who have really good suggestions for stories that are really interesting in Oklahoma's history that I really should turn into a novel. So I'm not quite sure where I'm going next, and in terms of writing. So there are lots of other possibilities. I'm interested in what happened here in the 1940s as well. So, we're moving up in the century, that last century.
Yeah. It's still hard to remember. That was last century. But I think Oklahoma is particularly rich in that most of our history is very compact. We're a very new state. We just celebrated our first 100 years. But we had something going on a little bit before that with the Indian removal, and it just seems like we managed to compress about 400 years worth of history into about 150 or 160 years.
Indeed. I often speak of Oklahoma's history being a microcosm of the whole nation's history. Some of it inverted, much of it happening at a really accelerated pace.
Well, and you've also touched on the diversity of Oklahoma that I think a lot of us are not aware of. We live in the state and we kind of know about the 5 civilized tribes and everything, but I suspect a lot of people still don't realize we had black towns here in Oklahoma. It wasn't just Indians and blacks. There's been a Hispanic presence for a very long time. And most of us don't think that just because we go out to the Czech Festival in Yukon, Czechs?
That's right.
What are they doing here?
Yeah.
And more recently, we had a lot of Vietnamese who settled here after the Vietnam War, and now a lot of Indians are settled here. So you can find Buddhist temples and Hindu temples right alongside the Baptist church.
Indeed. And a large Hispanic population that's increasingly grown here, certainly since I was a kid growing up in Oklahoma. So it's a really rich cultural mix here.
And it should keep you busy for a very long time.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, one of the things that you're doing here, besides picking up the occasional award and teaching creative writing at OU, is you were the ultimate Oklahoma Reads Oklahoma author.
Oh, I like that phrase, ultimate. As in last.
As in last. Most unfortunately, but it was a centennial project. So one of the things that you have been doing is going all over Oklahoma and visiting libraries.
It has been such an amazing experience. I love Oklahoma, its landscapes and its people anyway, but to get to meet so many readers in so many different towns of all sizes, and to see the strength of Oklahoma's libraries, and to see the support that those libraries have. They're the cultural heart of so many towns. And you go there to the library in the afternoon and it's packed, and it's got, their kids coming in after school working on the computers, and there are people looking up their genealogy, and there are people just sitting there reading the newspaper, and they're not staid, quiet little places. And the support that the I started to say the women, because the majority
usually
are women who are committed to their community and committed to their libraries, the friends of the libraries, in addition to the staff and the people who work there, as well as men. There are also men who very much support it, but just the majority, in my experience, have been women. It's been really heartening to see, and I think it's one of those well-kept secrets of Oklahoma that people don't understand or think of us as a place where the libraries are so much the heart of communities from Spiro to, I've been to Idabel and Boise City and Miami and Altus and Hollis, and from one end of the state to the other, and it's really thrilling and in some ways surprising in terms of the fact that the discussions are so rich. They are really thoughtful. There are people from all walks of life and all kinds of orientations, politically, philosophically, religious, all of those kinds of things, who come together to discuss books and to discuss issues and take time out of their day or their evening to come to the library and talk about things. It's exciting.
Yeah. Well, when we first conceived the idea of Oklahoma Reads Oklahoma, one of the things we knew we wanted to accomplish was to get authors into libraries that normally wouldn't be able to have somebody come. Like you said, Boise City and a lot of the smaller towns just can't afford it. They really don't have the resources for it. And so we were very pleased that we were able to get a number of writers, and you were, as we said, the last of them, and it sounds like you, as well as all of the others, have really enjoyed themselves.
We've loved it, and I'm really grateful for that opportunity. I know I'm picking up stories. I don't know what it's all going to come to in the end in terms of writing, because I'm so busy traveling, I'm not getting any writing done right now. But I know I'm picking up really a rich Oklahoma experience. I hope they are too.
Oh, I think they are. I want to thank you very much for being with us today, Rilla.
Thank you, BJ.
Rilla Askew has been here talking about being a writer in Oklahoma, and I want to remind you that her latest book, Harpsong, and also Fire and Beulah, which is the Oklahoma Reads Oklahoma book, are still available in the bookstore and at your favorite library.